Is the rookie point guard out of Marquette, Tyler Kolek, going to be outside of the New York Knicks rotation? Fred Katz of The Athletic wrote an article, and he hinted that it could be an uphill battle for Kolek to take some minutes from the other point guards on this Knicks roster. We're going to investigate that on today's video, but first, I want to hear from you in the comments section. We pride ourselves off audience interaction, and I know the real ones always love to share their opinion. So the question is, who would you rather have as the backup point guard? Is it the vet? Is it the rookie? Let me know your thoughts. You're watching Knicks Now by Chat Sports. I am your host, Marshall Green. Appreciate everybody for stopping by, no matter how you're watching or how you're listening. We appreciate it. Thoughts are going around that Tyler Kolek, the rookie second-round pick, is not going to be a part of the New York Knicks rotation this year. And as we know, Tibbs isn't always the first guy to put a rookie in a rotation, especially as he's going to be competing for a top seed in the Eastern Conference. But in today's video, I'm going to tell you why maybe he doesn't deserve big minutes, but he can help this team right away. Let's start with this quote from Fred Katz of The Athletic. Check him out. Does awesome work. Shout out to Fred. Awesome stuff. He writes this: if Kolek cracks the rotation, it's because he ripped a spot away from someone else, not because the Knicks gave him one. He'll have to prove he can stay in front of NBA point guards, which he struggled with at Summer League when he also proved to be one of the best passers in Las Vegas. I imagine Kolek sits at the end of the bench for most of this season. Eventually, he will receive a chance. Thibodeau is a massive fan and was pushing for the Knicks to draft him. Tibbs usually waits to play rookies. We saw that with Emmanuel Quickly. We've seen that with Quentin Grimes. We saw that with Obi Toppin. All of the rookies that have been drafted since Tom Thibodeau took over as the Knicks head coach, they have had to earn their way into the rotation. And I don't want it any other way than that for Cole. He needs to prove and he needs to show that he can compete in this league and contribute off the bench. But I do believe that right away, he could at least give you solid, valuable, and productive minutes, because what he does best is what the New York Knicks lacked last season. When you talk about what this team needed to add, it is exactly what Kolek does. He controls the pace of play. He gets others involved. He has his head on a swivel. He is an elite playmaker. And yes, I'm already going to throw the word elite out there for a rookie. That was on display at the Summer League. 7 assists per game with just 1.4 turnovers per game. He takes care of the basketball. But what he does best is he gets the ball to scorers and spots that they're able to be effective. And I think he's actually going to be better in the NBA than he was in the Summer League, because he's going to have elite talent around him, elite shot makers, and he can drive and kick, and he knows how to get the ball to people where they could be successful. And one thing I have learned since covering the NBA is high IQ hoopers, that translates. Maybe Kolek won't ever be the biggest player of the year in the NBA that he was at Marquette, looked at one of the best guards in college basketball, but he's going to have a baseline of productivity that I think he can give you night in and night out. Smart, high IQ, hard-working players, more often than not, are going to translate in the association. I do worry about his defense. It would be ignorant of me to come up here and act like he's perfect and he's ready to play and he's going to do everything at a high level, because I don't think he's going to be able to guard guards at an elite level. I worry about his efficiency as a shot maker. But when it comes to being that classic point guard, a guy that gets the ball to people in their spots, I think he was the best in this class, and I think he's going to show you that night in and night out. Thought this was important as well, and we'll tie all this in a second. The New York Knicks tried to sign Tyus Jones this offseason before he signed that one-year, $3 million deal to go be the starter for the Phoenix Suns. What does that tell me? The Knicks were worried about their point guard play off the bench behind Jalen Brunson. They don't believe that Deuce McBride is a point guard. We have quotes from that from Fred Katz, which we'll dive into in a second. But the numbers you see on screen right now showcase why the Knicks made it a priority to go out and get multiple point guards that can run the second unit and maybe the first unit if Jalen Brunson sits or is injured. The New York Knicks offensive rating following the OG Anunoby trade. What is offensive rating? It's the number of points you score per 100 possessions. With Jalen Brunson on the court following the trade of OG Anunoby, the Knicks had a 121.1 offensive rating. That would have been second best in the NBA. When Brunson was watching, did not play, or on the bench, the Knicks averaged just 102.9 points per 100 possessions. That would be by far and away the worst in the NBA. What does that tell me? The Knicks had to go out and find someone that could keep this offense afloat when Jalen Brunson has to sit down. And they did that by going out and signing Cam Payne. They tried to do it by going out and signing Tyus Jones, and they traded up in the second round to draft Tyler Kolek because these lopsided numbers cannot continue this upcoming season if you want to win an NBA championship. We're going to stay on topic coming up in a second, and we also have some reports from Fred Katz about how the New York Knicks view Deuce McBride and his role on the team. So McBride and Cam Payne talk coming up in a second. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Game Time. If you're looking to buy tickets for a Knicks game this season as the schedule was just released, or maybe you want to buy some last-minute tickets for Week 1 and for the Giants or the Jets, do it with Game Time, the best ticketing app in the game. So open up your app store, download the Game Time app, create an account, use the promo code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS, and Game Time will give you $20 off your first purchase where terms do apply. That promo code is ChatSports. Things I love about Game Time, last-minute tickets, and flash deals. The app is user-friendly. It's going to make sure you're getting the best deals, and it's going to alert you when the best deals are going on. The app is awesome where you can get views from the seat inside of it before purchasing, and yeah, you get the lowest price guaranteed. And it's more than just Knicks, Giants, or Jets games. You want to go to a concert, you want to go to a theater event, you want to do something that involves buying tickets and it's not sports related, you could do that as well with Game Time. Also, make sure you're using the all-in pricing feature. That's my favorite part about it. That way, when you see X amount of tickets are worth X amount of dollars, you pay that price. You don't get hit with all the hidden fees once you get out to checkout. Game Time, they're not about that. They take care of their customers, and that is why I am always going to be a Game Time customer. So download the app, create an account, and use the promo code CHATSPORTS, CHATSPORTS. Because what time is it? It is game time. Download the app, create an account, promo code CHATSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase, where terms do apply. All righty. Was reading an article that Fred Katz put out this morning. Go check it out. He says that the New York Knicks view Deuce McBride as an off-ball guard, not a point guard, more so an undersized wing. I wonder who's been saying that for quite some time. Probably a pretty good-looking dude. But Fred Katz reports this. The Knicks value Miles Deuce McBride off the bench, but view him as more of a wing who is the size of a point guard than a player with point guard traits. Bridges could run the second unit with McBride acting as a dangerous spacer in the half court since Deuce shot 42% on catch-and-shoot three-pointers last season. I've been trying to tell you that for months at this point. Deuce McBride is not a point guard. Deuce McBride is a really good basketball player. He is much improved. He is a hard worker. He's a knockdown shooter. He's a great defender. He can score on the half court. He's just not a point guard. And I've told you that. That's why where Marshall was right is coming up on today's video. Deuce is awesome. He really is. The growth we've seen is something I'm always going to admire. I'm always going to appreciate the work that he puts in into his craft. The dude was playing in the G League this year and then averaged almost 30 minutes per game in the playoffs and was very productive. He's just not a point guard. And the stat we showed you earlier, the offensive rating, I think paints the picture as to why he is not a point guard and why the Knicks went out and signed Cam Payne and why the Knicks went out and drafted Tyler Kolek and why the Knicks went out and tried to sign Tyus Jones. We love Deuce McBride. There is no hate in my blood at all for him. But I think what he's best at in this league is being a pest on defense, guarding smaller guards, being a player off the catch, which he has done really, really well, not running an offense, not setting the tempo, not creating open shots for other team players on his team. It's just not what he is. The Knicks wanted a veteran point guard on this roster. And they went out and they did that. Tried to add Tyus Jones, so once that didn't work out, what did they do? They pivoted and they went out and signed Cam Payne, a.k.a. Terry Johnson. How do you not love Cam Payne? I thought he played pretty well in that series for Philly against the Knicks. It seemed like any time the Knicks were about to land that knockout punch, it was Cam Payne in transition with that nasty-looking jumper knocking a three down. You got to respect him, man. He's been around the league for a while. He had to go overseas a couple of years ago, reinvented himself, and found a spot in the league to be productive yet again. Is he going to blow you away with the statistics? No, he's going to give you about a handful of points, a handful of assists while being efficient with the basketball. But the thing that I like about him the most is he has been in the trenches. He has 58 career playoff games under his belt. That's why the Knicks went out and signed him. He's been there in the big moments. He's played well in the big moments, and they needed another veteran on this roster. Remember that 2020-2021 playoff run that the Phoenix Suns put together to get to the NBA Finals? Cam Payne was awesome in that run. 19 minutes per game, giving you 9.3 points per game and shooting 36% from three to go with 3.2 assists. Shot 44% last year, 41% the year before. The guy can hit big-time shots in big-time moments. He's not scared. He's not someone that's going to shy away from the moment. He's going to pull up with that ratchet-looking jumper, let it fly, and I want to see him dancing back on defense at Madison Square Garden. He's going to do that. The Knicks point guards last year, they weren't great behind Brunson. This year, I actually have faith in all three of them. If Cam Payne has to start a handful of games, I think the Knicks can compete. If Tyler Kolek's got to be a guy that contributes right away, I'm totally fine with that. As long as Jalen Brunson's healthy for the entire season, this team's going to have a lot of success. And I believe the backup point guards are going to be a major factor in that, because I don't think the offense will fall off a cliff quite like it did last season. I want to circle back to this question that we asked you at the top of the show. Now that you've seen the stats, now that you've heard my dumb opinion, now's your chance to finally give your votes. Cam Payne, Tyler Kolek, the rookie and the vet, which one should back up JP? And if you haven't yet, please be a real one and give me a follow on social media. I'm trying to grow my profiles over there as well. At @MarshallGreen_ on X. Same handle on IG. Hit me up over there, and let's talk some hoops.